Hi everyone, it's Shamila Ramjawan from the Red Corner Show. I have a very interesting guest on my show, Altovise Pelzer, who is in the USA, and we're going to share a very informal conversation today. Hello, Altovise, how are you?
Hello, I am doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we finally connected. I mean, it's been quite a challenge trying to get onto the chat yesterday and then today, and but we're here, okay?
Yes, I'm excited that we were able to go ahead and finally connect. Trying to keep up with all the time zones, oh my goodness, has been a struggle.
No, and I've been talking to people from different parts of the USA. So I get so confused with California and then going to Maryland, where you are, and crossing over to the other side, LA. And I'm getting used to all the states in the USA as well. So when I do visit, it's going to be so much easier because I know exactly where I am.
True indeed, true indeed. I've been connecting with people from all over, especially through, social media. It's easier now for you to connect with people. But yeah, I know that, bright and early in the morning when I'm up at like 4 in the morning, it's usually already afternoons for some people.
Yes, yes. I must tell you, with speaking to a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that I can now call friends as well in the USA. And it's just incredible. And I've got to make those sacrifices in terms of times and sleeping times and just being there for everyone so we can connect. But it's been quite an interesting journey, I must say. And I've also joined Clubhouse, and I see you also do podcasts on Clubhouse. That's also very interesting for us because it's new to us in South Africa as well. And a lot of people are now just getting the hang of Clubhouse, especially South Africans. So, what's your
Clubhouse
take on
is
Clubhouse?
Clubhouse is awesome. And Clubhouse is probably part of the reason why my sleep schedule is all the way off. Because I am normally someone who is up early in the morning at like 4, and then I'm in bed by like 8, 9 o'clock, maybe a little later. But all of these amazing people are coming on Clubhouse at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock my time. And I'm like, oh, I got one eye open trying to listen in.
Believe that because I joined a few times and I collaborated with 16 other women with the book My Pink Stilettos with Dr. Lolita Rice Barnes. And
Congrats.
yes, and we also have a channel on Clubhouse. And, I'm often, well, I was supposed to be there for most of the chats, but I just can't make it with the different times, trying to adjust. So, yes, it's quite interesting as well. So please follow them as well and see if you can join a very interesting chat room. But your podcast, hashtag Speak Easy, take me through that journey because you're also doing amazing work in terms of interviewing people.
Oh my goodness. So I've been podcasting for about 4 years. Podcasting, I tell people podcasting is my favorite part of my business, especially as an introvert, because it allows me to be able to network and connect with people from all over. So much so that I have been able to become a magnetic host. And so, what that term is when you have someone who hosts a podcast and they no longer have to go and track down people for guests. They have people that are coming to them and requesting to be a guest on their show. It also means that other opportunities open up. And so for me, speaking opportunities have opened up because of my podcast. Collaborations have opened up, and it just literally puts me in a different space. And as the introvert, I know for me, networking in a room full of a whole bunch of people with suits on was never my thing. I can remember paying for tickets to networking events and literally being there and not talking to anybody, sitting in the
Really?
corner.
Seems okay. That's interesting, but I think it's the same with me. When you just attend networking events for the first time, you sort of lack confidence. But I think as you get familiar with faces and people, and then you tend to meet the familiar faces all over again every time you go to a networking event, and then that becomes your kind of friendship ring that you form. So
Yeah.
yes.
But see, that was it for me. I would go to events and previous guests would be at the event, and that would be my way in for different conversations, or people that have, seen one of my books that was published and read one of my books. That was my way in. And so I didn't necessarily have to go up to people. More so, I just had to go and be present, have my name on my badge. A lot of people knew me a while back. They knew me as the unicorn. And so that would be on my badge, and people would just automatically come up and talk to me. So I loved that.
I can so relate. And just talking, I see there's an echo. I'm not sure what that is all about there that's coming through. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, perfect. So just talking about your books. So you have 2 international bestsellers. What was the strategy behind that?
So for me, I've gone and I've connected with people all over. And my purpose was always making sure that I could have other people's voices heard. And, it's great to have a book where you tell your story or to give great business tips. But I decided in these particular projects that it was going to be a space to help other people have their story heard. Which is really great. It's called an anthology. The first one was A Stage of Their Own. The second one was #Unmuted, Strategies to Move from Tragedy to Triumph. The first one was men and women. The second one was just for women. And it was significant because it brought out stories from people who had never put their story into a book yet. And since then, the co-authors in those books have gone on to write and publish more books and tell their full-on story, whereas their chapter may have only been one piece of it. So for me, it was making it more than just about me. It was about a collection of people coming together, and each of their stories were so powerful that we've been able to go and connect. And those have been reading the stories. We've gotten nothing but 5-star reviews. So I'm loving every bit of the journey. And then the most recent one, #Unmuted, is actually part of a much bigger project because we did the book, but the book was only one piece. We'll actually be doing a box. It's called the Unmuted Box, and it'll be going out to women's organizations all around the world. So women's shelters, homeless shelters where women reside, and it's to empower and uplift them. And so it'll have some self-care items in there. It'll have a copy of the book, a journal, just some things to kind of get them where they are, but help them to be able to move to a whole nother level.
Incredible. I love it. So at the moment, where can one buy the books? Well, both your books.
They are actually available online on Amazon. If you go to bit.ly/Altovise Unmuted, then you can go to my Amazon Author Central page and you can actually see all of them. These last 2 were a part of the total of 19 that I've published. All are not on Amazon though, but these 2 are. And so when you go on there, you'll definitely see both of those there.
Altovise, what is your 9 to 5 job?
This is it. This is what I get to do.
Wonderful. So
I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. So do you have workshops as well?
Yes. So I do workshops. I do the anthologies, which we have one more coming up, which it will be the second part in the Unmuted series. I speak on stages all over, and I do coaching programs. And the coaching programs that I do, they're quite different than some of the others out there. Because something that I found was that a lot of people were taking classes and they were taking webinars, they were going buying books, but they weren't really taking action on the things that they were getting. And so they were kind of collecting a lot of things, but they weren't really moving forward. And one of the things that I noticed was that they needed long-term support. A lot of times we get the short term and it's a great boost of energy in that moment, but they needed something a little longer. And so what I did was I created a membership as well. And it's an accountability membership just for women. Women entrepreneurs, no matter what level of business they are in. We have women in there that already are making six figures in their business, women who are just getting started. And we do a weekly accountability call. And it's a call that really does push you off the ledge, but it also is that safe space for you to be able to say, this isn't working. I don't understand what's going on with these changes. We know social media changes at the blink of an eye. And so in that particular membership, they get access to resources, videos, webinars, all of it's a part of the actual membership fee. And then they also get the weekly accountability call and certain master classes that we'll do as well. So it was, stepping outside of what I saw everybody else doing and saying, there's a gap here and I'm going to be the one to fill the gap.
Wonderful. I love that. Grabbing the opportunities and running with it and just making things happen. But you talk about speaking on stage, and we know that COVID-19 has affected everybody globally. How did that have an impact on your business and what you do?
So it was hard. We published the book #Unmuted in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, and we were supposed to be doing a tour with the book, and we had to cancel the tour. Which we know, those of us in business, we know as entrepreneurs, when we're thinking about a tour, we add that into a budget of what we're going to be getting. Like we have an idea from ticket sales, from sponsorships, from all of these different things of how much we want to make from each event. And all of that was null and void, simply because the experience was going to be something completely different. So with that, I've done one live event, in-person event throughout the whole pandemic, and it was actually Girls Can Do Anything in Wilmington, Delaware. And so they were very cautious. Everybody had masks. Believe me, they had hand sanitizer everywhere. And they kept the groups that we were actually engaging with pretty small. But, to still be able to have that engagement was really great. I love, being in that environment, and especially helping and empowering young girls was really nice. But everything else that I've done for 2020 and into the beginning of 2021 has all been virtual. And so speaking for Podcast Global Summit, speaking for the National Publicity Summit, everything has been virtual. And it's kind of okay for me as an introvert because I'm in my space, I'm in my zone, but I've actually had to adjust some things because you want to make sure that you're still getting that same networking experience virtually that you would do in person.
Yes, well, we have to just hope and pray that COVID is something of the past, because we need to get you out of that introvert zone. Otherwise, you're going to become too complacent there.
And it was crazy because when COVID hit, we were planning to do an event in the UK and in Scotland, because I've connected with people in the UK and Scotland, and they're like, when are you coming across the pond? And I'm like, soon, very soon. And then COVID hit, and I was like, oh.
Yes, I'm actually going through the same phase where I'm really missing my travel now. I was due to fly out last March to Miami for a conference for Ladies of All Nations International, and then COVID hit us, and we went into hard lockdown, and we couldn't travel. So I have a ticket banked already. So yes, definitely once we up and running to travel USA, I'm on my way.
I know that's right.
Yes, it's going to be so exciting. But Altovise, as women entrepreneurs, we all face challenges and obstacles in our journey to get to where we are. Do you maybe want to highlight some of the obstacles or challenges that you had?
Most definitely. And I love highlighting this particular story because this was kind of this was the entrance way for me to start my podcast, because I wanted to speak to entrepreneurs who were within their first 5 years of business. In 2015, I had a conversation with my oldest daughter about trust. And it was the first time I had ever told anyone that I had been molested as a child. I'm the mother of 2 girls who were molested as well. And so it was a really emotional moment. My daughter and I, we just sat and cried for a moment. But it shifted something for me, because it made me say 2016 is going to be my year. I know a lot of those listening in or watching can relate, that you said 2020 was going to be your year, 2021 was going to be your year, and it's like all heck is breaking loose, right? And so I said, no, 2016 is going to be my year. I'm going to make some significant changes. I'm going to rebrand my business. I'm going to become the face of the brand. I'm going to start speaking on stages. And then December 31st of 2015, I was evicted from my home.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
And then so I went from being excited about this new journey to being homeless with 4 children. And, taking my things and having to put them on the curb, and looking in my children's eyes, and I felt like a complete and utter failure. But here it is. I said that starting January 1st, I was going to have this grand experience. And literally, I had a moment of just being torn, because January 1st, I had a trip that had already planned, I had a flight planned and everything. And I really did struggle with saying, am I going to take this flight? Normally, I would have let go. I would have said, oh, woe is me. Nothing ever works for me. Things are always not going my way, because I was looking at my current circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, for the first time, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this trip. I understand. Listen, I moved all of my stuff into storage. My children were staying with a good friend that I call my sister in her 2-bedroom apartment. And that's who we were staying with. That's who we literally had to move in with. And I said, I have to go. And I left and went on this trip. First flight, no problem. The second flight, there was no group number on my ticket. So in my mind as a creative, I just could have sworn that I was going to jail. I had a fake ticket and I was going to be arrested. But I went to the booth and I let them know. And they said, no worries, just go in with group 2. So I'm like, okay, great. I get myself together and I said, we're going to go in with group 2. I get up when they call group 2, I get in line, and then I hear my name over the loudspeaker. Now, I already told you I'm a creative, so I'm looking for the TSA to be like coming down from a helicopter out on the where the airplanes are. I'm like looking for one of the carts coming through to see if they would come and arrest me. But I walk back over to the booth, and they hand me a brand new ticket, and it says first class.
Wow. Well done. That is awesome.
That forever changed everything for me, because it made me realize that even in the midst of my situation, if I just take a step forward, I never know what first grade, what upgrade is coming. I never know what first class experience is going to happen. That changed everything. So in 2016, while still homeless, I not only published my first book while still homeless, but in that year, I ended up publishing 4 books. And since then have published a total of 19. And
Did you say 19?
Yes, ma'am, 19 books.
You published 19 books.
Yes, I have either been the author, the visionary author, or the co-author, and at this total is 19 books.
Congratulations, that is amazing.
Thank you. It's been an awesome experience, and I push myself. And in the moments when I think I can't push myself, I go and I make sure that I have people around me that are not scared to push me, that are not scared to say, listen, you either gonna walk across this finish line or I'm gonna pull you across this finish line.
Yes, well, you seem like a woman that's unstoppable and that won't give up. And that is one of the great qualities to have as a business person as well.
Oh yeah, yes indeed. That tenacity is important. I think that has been probably what has held a lot of the entrepreneurs that are still going strong throughout this pandemic, that has been what's held them together, is that tenacity, is saying every day when I get up, I'm going to make something happen. I don't know what that may be. I don't know 100% how it may turn out, but I'm going to make something happen.
Absolutely. I love that. And, we know time is valuable. In terms of time management, do you want to share a skill with our audience out there?
Yes, get help.
Get help. Yes, obviously. Yes,
Learn
definitely.
to delegate some things. Something that I had to start doing was really looking at my time and saying, is this worth the time that I'm putting into it? And a lot of the things that we put our time into is not worth it. So as a single mom, I want to make sure that I have the time for them as well. I want to make sure that I have the time to connect with them, to support them. And that meant making sure that I'm not side hustling my business. Now, I know side hustling is like this term that everybody runs towards. They want to be a hustler, they want to be able to do all these great things. But I never want to be the one that's side hustling my business and hustling so hard to make the business work that I lose my family in the process. Because ultimately, when I started the business and when I decided to leave a full-time job to do this full-time, it was because I said I wanted something better for them. I wanted something better for us. And I can't have something better if I'm spending all my time on the business. So that came after a very hard conversation with my children, who they said, Mom, you spent more time with us when you were working the full-time job. And I said, gotta make some changes. So for me, that whole time management piece came when I was able to put things on paper and say, what do I really, what's really the value of this action? What's really the value of this conversation? And is it necessary? If it's not necessary, it's okay to let it go.
I so believe that. And it is true. Our kids, they grow up so quickly. Before you know it, they're adults and they leave the home. And this is the best time for you to actually spend that quality time with them, to be there for them as well. And as entrepreneurs, we know that we spend a lot of time trying to earn a salary, because we don't have that fixed salary at the end of the month, because we've got to work 10 times harder.
Oh yes, we do have to put in the work. I know that a lot of times it's glamorized that you can make your own hours and you get up when you want. Yeah, no, you don't. Uh, that doesn't always work. It depends on what you're doing, and it depends on the type of clients you have. If you have international clients, then you're getting up earlier so that way you can engage with them and talk to them and meet with them. You're adjusting your times when it comes to your meetings and to events and opportunities. You're adjusting all of that stuff to be able to accommodate the clients that you're having. And this is one of the most valuable things that I want to tell you guys, is that it changes. Like, your goals change, your daily objectives change. Time management will have to change for you along the way. And so whatever you're doing at the moment, it's not in concrete. It will change over time because things will happen. We never know. We may have a parent that we have to start taking care of, and so we have to make adjustments. You may get married. That's a big adjustment. There are so many things that we have to take into account. And I know, it's the thought is that we can separate life and business, and that, we can deal with one on one end and then deal with another on the other, but they're very much intertwined. And whatever affects one is going to definitely affect and infect the other. So being sure that you don't get so stuck in what you're doing that you can't make the adjustments that are necessary.
I still believe that, because if we look at emotions as well, and especially now, I'm going to talk about COVID-19 again. And if you think about COVID-19 and everyone working from home in their home space, you actually mixing business and personal now. So like you said, it is intertwined. And there has to be some sort of separation at some point. It's like switching off your laptop and not taking it through the night. You need to know when to spend time with your family. You need to know when you're going to actually sit down for dinner. We work sometimes and we forget to eat lunch. So you need to know exactly when to stop. And that is something that I need to learn because I never stop. And I think all of us, when we get so engrossed in something and we're doing something that we just don't want to get off that chair. But just talking about that, and like we said, the pains, the growing pains of being an entrepreneur. Social media has such an impact as well, and I think a lot of people that would be watching this and listening, and entrepreneurs can relate, is that we actually put out all the glamour stuff on social media because we want to put out the positivity, but we don't actually tell people exactly how we feel when something bad happens because we don't want to put out negativity. How has social media impacted your business, and what are you doing to create visibility in terms of growing your business?
So for me, um, it was interesting because when I first rebranded, I was doing a lot of live streaming, and at that time, live streaming had become the go-to thing. We had Blab, we had Periscope, which is closing shortly. We had so many different opportunities, and so literally, it was like, wow, yeah, you could go in there and you could live stream 2 and 3 times a day, and you were, it was all about building up your following and all of this stuff. And then I realized that you did a lot of the work that you didn't really have to do because it was, you weren't being deliberate. And I felt myself doing that because of the coaching that I was receiving at that time, was just like, no, go, 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 show up, show up, show up, go live stream for 2, 3 hours straight. And I'm like, why? what,
Reminds me
what
of
for?
to me is that actually reminds me of photographs, selfies and whatever. I'm a selfie queen. I love taking selfies. And every time you take a photograph, you think, oh my God, I look so gorgeous. Let me just post this. Let me post this on Instagram. Let me post this on Facebook. And then you get to a stage where you think, why are you doing this? Why are you posting your photographs all the time? Why are you posting food all the time, or your now and then I would post the baking skills and whatever, because I want to show people that I can do different things as well. But I mean, there were times where I would bake, and every time I baked, I would put a photograph of something that I baked, or something or the other. And then you reach a stage where you find that what impact is it having on someone else? Okay, maybe you're inspiring them in some way or the other, those that don't bake or cook or take selfies. But the other people, they're probably getting tired of Shamila. She keeps posting these selfies. But guys, if you're watching, I love myself. So I will post as much as I want to when I want to. But just to tell you the norm, when you start off and then it suddenly dies down, you get tired. And now it's like you're getting the throwbacks from 5 years, 6 years ago, and you found that was interesting, let me just repost it. So do you go through the same sort of phases?
I do, I do. One of the things, and this is like in depth behind the scenes, guys. I don't like doing photo shoots.
Yes,
I don't
I feel
like
the
taking
same.
pictures. And so I had to find like little ways to take like batch photos along the way and just be able to go ahead and use those, later on, because I didn't want to take photos every single day, or the same way I didn't want to do videos every single day. So I learned how to batch my content. I learned how to repurpose content. I think that is one of the sweet spots for entrepreneurs, is that we can repurpose things in different ways on different platforms and reach our target audience on each platform, or that we don't even have to be on every platform. I think that was another piece for me. But going ahead and uh, posting up pictures that are older, I have no problem with it. I've gone through and archived things from my post, and I'm like, maybe it just wasn't right for that moment. And then I've reposted it later, and like, oh my goodness, it's the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I know exactly what you're saying. And, it also goes back to networking. And I'm sure you can also relate to this is when you started as an entrepreneur, you actually want to be everywhere. Go to this event, that event, just be visible and see how you can connect with people and just make sure that it's going to add value to your business. And then somewhere down the line, you sort of outgrow that and you think, okay, now I'm going to choose where I want to be. So I want to go to that event or I want to join that organization. So you become mature in the sense of being an entrepreneur, or I would say an experienced entrepreneur, because you know exactly where you want to be at any given time. Did you
Most
go
definitely. Most definitely. And it's interesting because I'll even say this, and y'all gonna have to come in close on this one. I shut down my Twitter account.
I am so bad with Twitter. And
I was too.
I am so bad with it because I just feel that you have to be there all the time, and I don't have the time to be there all the time. And I'm actually powered by Momentum, a huge organization in South Africa, and they had a whole because of the budget speech this week. They had a whole showcase because I won a competition last year as an entrepreneur as well. And they called me up and they said to me, we're going to be posting this and you have to be on Twitter and retweet and answer people and all of that. And I said, but I'm so bad with Twitter, But Altovise, from what I heard, Twitter is the place to be. So if you really want to get noticed and get visibility, Twitter is the place to be, not Facebook. Facebook is social. It's for family.
Oh yeah, Facebook is
if you want
a dinosaur.
If you want to have some fun and you want to just engage with people, I mean, I don't have the time to go and read other people's stuff, hardly ever, because I'm there posting and I'm out because I have other stuff to do. But if you look at Facebook being more social with family and friends, just having some fun, sharing a few things. But if you really want to go onto the really hot stuff and where you really get noticed, it's Twitter, if you have the time. And then, and I also don't get people to manage my social media profiles. I want to do it on my own because I feel that is so personal. And then LinkedIn, if you want to get onto the professional scene, LinkedIn is also the place to be. And then Instagram, if you want to be visible, like Shamila being the selfie queen, get onto Instagram. But I think, yes, it's just my view on Twitter. I don't have the time, but I need to start making the time, I think, because that's where people are. They hang out there.
They do. And so for me, it was never a place where I had a lot of engagement. It was never a place where I connected with any followers or where people were listening to the podcast or anything. So I just was like, I let it go. And I shut down Twitter and I shut down TikTok. And TikTok, I had like close to 2,000 followers, I think, at one point. So I had the ability to live stream and all of that. And I was just like, but it's not moving my needle forward. And I think that was the biggest thing for me is this moving my needle forward? So Clubhouse, it moves my needle forward. I've gotten so many guests for the podcast. I've gotten opportunities to speak. So that's moving the needle forward. LinkedIn is moving the needle forward. So we're currently about to create a whole LinkedIn strategy for what we're going to be doing with sharing the podcast over there and things like that. And then Instagram, learning reels. And, I think right now I'm starting to look at Guide to see how I can use that, when it comes to my business. But you have to understand what's going to work best for you and go all in. Like, you have to be consistent. You have to be, engaging. And I think the fact that Twitter and Instagram are connected to Clubhouse is really major, because they literally are connecting with you there and then connecting with whatever account you have connected to Clubhouse. And so I'm getting DMs from people every single day, for one reason or another. And it's boosting the Instagram because they're becoming followers.
Yes, I can relate to that because I was on Clubhouse, as I mentioned earlier, on 2 occasions, and I also end up with a few additional followers. So it's great. It's great to increase your following. But just on TikTok, I find it quite funny because you go onto TikTok and you see all these funny videos of people doing weird things. I have an issue with that because I've noticed that there are a lot of young kids on TikTok. How do the parents actually allow that? I have no clue.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why I let it go. Because I am someone, again, with being a mother of 2 girls who were molested when they were younger. I am very protective when it comes to children. And there are just some things on TikTok um, that are not good for them. And a lot of them, when they're coming on through an account that their parent created. So it's not marking them as a child. And so they're able to see whatever their parent would have been able to see. And it's not all for them.
That is so wrong. That is so wrong. So, parents, if you are watching this, please get your kids off TikTok or any social media platforms because they're not at the age to be on such platforms, and they shouldn't be. It actually puts a lot of, we've got to put our guards up because of the kids being around, and it shouldn't be like that. These are social media platforms for adults, not for children. Go and get them storybooks, let them sit and read in a corner, but not on TikTok doing all the dance moves and watching everything else that people are posting. It's just not
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And at first I thought it was just, parents are posting like, videos of their children. But then as my account started to grow, I started to see, no, these are children who actually have accounts. Why? Why are these little kids following me? Oh no, I don't. And I wasn't posting anything negative. All of my posts were positive posts, but it was still the thought of it, knowing what I've gone through with my children. I said, yeah, no, I can't be a part of that.
I don't see any reason why children should be on social media, period.
I think right now, well, I have to say right now, social media has been an outlet for them because of everything that's going on with the pandemic. It's been a way for them to connect with people worldwide. The same way we use it to connect with people worldwide, they do too. I know that for some now, because I have I have 4 kids. I have 2 adults and now 3 adults and 1 teenager. Uh, but they use it because they're into the arts, so they listen to different things. They like to dance, they like to sing, but also they're learning different things while they're on there. And my youngest, uh, she's actually starting her own business. So there's things that she's learning when it comes to the business that she's creating because it's not a business that I've ever done. She's learning those things on TikTok because she's following different influencers who this is what they're doing, and they're showing behind the scenes, and they're telling you what kind of fabric to get, and they're telling you what kind of, and so that's one of the reasons she loves it. Now, does it have a bunch of funny videos? Of course. There's a ton of funny videos, y'all. I mean, hilarious. You will get stuck on TikTok for hours. You can get stuck on Instagram for
Yes,
hours.
absolutely. And how old is your youngest daughter?
She's 16, about to be 17.
Well, that's okay. For me, that age is still okay. But I've seen 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds
Oh
on
yeah,
TikTok.
I've seen little kids on, and I've even seen little kids that are like 5, 6, and they're on their parents' account and like posting. They're the you can tell they're the ones posting the video.
No, that's ridiculous. There should actually be some restrictions. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's the parents to make that call, not us.
Indeed. Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Altovise, we're running out of time, but just maybe share your goals for 2021.
Oh, we just throwing all the goals away. No.
Just move
So
the
20,
goalpost. Just don't throw the
right?
goalpost. Just keep moving the goalpost.
Exactly. 2021 is going to be when we start releasing the unmuted box. And so we're looking to collaborate with other companies who would like to be a part of it and donate either to us creating the boxes or to, they may have something that is a self-care item or something that may fit into the box that, would go with along the idea of what it is we're trying to deliver. And we're looking for organizations where we can send these different boxes as well. That's the big heart project for me for 2021. I'm still speaking on stages virtually and in person. I'm still doing events. So far this year, I've done two. I've done two virtual events, and I just had someone reach out for another one. So I haven't stopped in that aspect. The podcast is moving and shaking. I've had guests come on, and I'm loving the conversations that are happening right now. So it's just a matter of continuing to move forward at a steady pace. And I'm always learning too. So this year I'm taking on some new things to learn and grow that's going to really benefit the clients that I work with.
Everything sounds so interesting, and I wish you everything of the best. And your last words for our audience?
Take each moment and treat it like it's that one moment for you. I know, we get kind of caught up when things don't go the way that we want it to sometimes, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be a perfect moment, but it is your moment. Own it, celebrate it, own it, and execute at a high level.
Wonderful inspiration. So we're going to leave the show with those words. Altovise Pelzer from Maryland, USA. Thank you so much for joining me on the chat. I had so much fun, and I'm going to look out for you, and I'm going to also follow your goals for 2021. Thank you so much for coming to chat to me.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. I absolutely love this conversation.
Awesome. Take care and God bless. Bye.
Yeah.